Hello and welcome to the Aaron Werner Podcast. Today I talk with my friend Steve Lai about All It Takes Is a Goal and his response, his insights, his reactions when he read the book. He had listened to the conversation Ted and I had, and I will link that in the show notes if you want to listen to that conversation. But Steve had texted and said, hey, thanks for the recommendation. And then he shared some insights while he was reading the books and said, hey, we need to have you on so you can share those. So I hope you enjoy the conversation. I thought it was really good insight, certainly something that I'm going to take away and apply in my life. As always, we want you to be part of the conversation. Please leave a note, send me a text, share the episode, give us a 5-star review, and of course, support those who support us. Discovering the impact of LifeMeter this year has been truly transformative for motivating my patients with macular degeneration to embrace carotenoid supplements. With this non-invasive device, we can now quantitatively show that supplements are working. LifeMeter assesses carotenoid concentration in the skin, reflecting fruit and vegetable intake, and indicating levels in other vital tissues like the retina and brain. Supported by over 30 peer-reviewed publications, LifeMeter's accuracy, consistency, and effectiveness have been validated in 2,000 subjects of varying background. What's more, it offers the flexibility to prescribe the best-suited products for each patient. My patients love knowing their numbers and witnessing improvements in as little as a month. Better yet, compliance with carotenoid supplements has surged, doubling our sales of MacuHealth since the LifeMeter's implementation. Welcome to the Aaron Werner Podcast on iCode Media. I've got a good friend of mine, Steve Lai, with us today, and this was kind of a fun way that this interview or having Steve on the podcast came about. Not too long ago, Ted McElroy and I did a discussion about the All It Takes Is a Goal book that by John Acuff. And Steve texted me and a picture of the book and said, hey, thanks for the recommendation. And I said, sweet, let me know what you think about it. Actually, it said Letitia because my phone auto-corrected. I pulled up our text conversation here. But I said, let me know what you think about the book. And he did. He sent me some really cool insights. And I said, well, shoot, let's just get you on the podcast and discuss, what your takeaways were, what your insights were, and what your thoughts were about the book. But Steve, before we jump into that, let everybody know a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks again, Aaron, for the invite. I've been a Vision Source member for close to 25 years now in the Houston area and became an administrator in the Houston area a few years ago, along with Claudio Lagunas and Megan Stubinsky. I'm enjoying everything Vision Source has to offer, including your podcast.
So cool. Well, we're really excited to have you here. So you listened to Ted and I ramble on about how much we like the book, and in our insights and a little bit of fanboying on our part, I think rightfully so. You got it, and then you took the book. You got the book right before you went on a trip, right? So you got a chance to read while you were traveling.
Yeah. So on our trips, I like to bring a couple of books. One is usually for entertainment value, and the other one's usually more educational. Usually, I try to pick something practice management related. And like you said, I had just listened to you and Ted talk about this book, and I thought I'd give it a shot. And you're right. I texted you right away when I got the book and said, hey, thanks for the recommendation. And one morning I was definitely in my comfort zone reading the book, and 30, 40 pages into it, he's talking about the best moments list.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, hey, I'm going to shoot my friend Aaron an encouraging text and let him know how much I'm enjoying the book. And that's all I wanted to do. And what did you do? You said, hey, let's do a recording. And it was not what I was expecting. Now, that kind of had and I put out a text. I said, sure, let me think about that, right? That's my code for, let me think about how I'm going to tell Aaron no in a few texts. And then, of course, right after I text that, I read a passage in the book that says, hey, to stay in that potential zone where you're going to be most successful, you have to try new things. And I think that was the universe telling me, okay, this is something worth trying. So I texted back, hey, I'm all in. Let me finish the book, and we'll set something up. So here we are, right?
Here we are. I love that. That was one of my top two favorite texts from you when I could tell you were trying to tell me no, and it was the professional maybe, right? As a parent, I want to tell my kids no, I just say maybe, and so that was your professional maybe to me. And then I cracked up because the John smiled at you and said, "Nope, you're going to do this," and you actually quoted the whole passage from the book, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
What really intrigued me and the reason I wanted to get you on was when you were reading The Best Moments. Do you remember the insight that you shared, your thought you shared with me?
Yeah. The best moments list is so important, right? It really defines who we are. So the first thought that came to my mind about understanding that is, we've all heard about, hey, let's learn from our mistakes, right? But what John says is, hey, that which is important, but he's also saying, let's learn for our best moments
Mm-hmm.
also. And that I think, if you're going to define me, I want to be defined by my best moments, not my not by my mistakes. So as I was kind of just thinking about what my best moments were, I think you and I share a lot of similarities. So at the top of my list were more experiences and relationships, and then came the accomplishments, and then I had like one object, right? But my experiences and relationships kind of overlap because they involve the same kind of people. I thought about my wife and my two daughters and my mom, and I kind of flipped it around. This is what I shared with you in the text is, if I asked them, my family, what their best moments were, would I be included in their best moments like they are in mine? And then to take it a step further, because we're practitioners, if we asked our patients, hey, what are your best moments? Would we be a part of their best moments? And that would be awesome, right? Or how can, now that you have your best moments, how can we create this? How can we create these best moments for our families and our patients? And that's what's really neat about this book. It just keeps you thinking. Every few pages, you're kind of reflecting on yourself. And thinking about how it affects you and how you can use it moving forward.
That's really that's really cool, and something that I hadn't picked up on. Maybe it's because I'm a little too egotistical and self-centered, right? But I was looking at my best moments, and it never crossed my mind. Which I was super blown away when you shared that. How many best moments of others am I in? How many
Exactly.
best moments for them have I created? Which I think is huge. And have you asked your family or friends?
I talked to one of my daughters. One of my best moments with her was the opportunity to coach her softball team. I know your daughter's play soccer, and you may
Mm-hmm.
have had the same kind of story. But that was very neat to be part of the same team. But what her best moment and mine, where we shared the same, is sometimes before practice we wouldn't have time to really sit down and have a good meal. So we would swing by a McDonald's or something fast like that, and we would grab it and sit on the back of my pickup truck and have dinner. And she said that, more than the baseball or softball, better than the practices or any kind of trophy, that time that we spent together, sharing a meal on the back of a truck was something she's going to remember for a long time. So, and that was one of my best moments.
That's
Yeah.
that's awesome, and it makes me smile because two of my best moments. One is being a kid sitting with my dad on the back of his pickup truck. He loved Rowley's burgers, and they got great seasoned fries. So sitting at on the back of his tailgate eating a Rowley burger, and then my brother, who I lost about 20 something years ago in a motorcycle accident. But one of my favorite moments with him and all the crazy things we did was sitting on the back of my tailgate eating In-N-Out. And it's that there's something about that tailgate at nighttime eating a fast food.
Yeah. It's those little moments, it doesn't have to be crazy big or really elaborate. It's just those little few minutes we share with each other. I think it could be a meal, it could be a life lesson, things like that. I think what we really remember, what we cherish.
Yeah. And I find it interesting too that the things that I would think about are, to be the big moments, the big trip to Disneyland or the big expensive vacation that we paid for.
Yeah,
It it ends up being the small thing that happened that really costs nothing, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly. I think it's the time that we invest. When you invest your your time, that's what people remember.
Yep. So talk to me a little bit about the mindset of thinking about, hey, how do I create a best moment for somebody else? Like
Yeah.
how do you
Yeah.
take that and keep it forefront in your mind or actionable when we're going about our day, which uh, it isn't a best moments day because stuff happens and it's not all fun and sexy. How do you still kind of keep that in mind?
When you create your best moments, this is why it's so important. You do get a sense of self awareness, right? You start to understand what is important to you, what you define as best moments. So when you understand that, you're able to kind of look for that going through your daily activity. Um, you know, relationships again was high on my list. Um, Recently, I'll share something that I think is was made my best moments list more recently. I had a patient come in, and she had never been into practice before, but she came in, and I was happened to be at the front desk. She brought in a pair of glasses, and one of the lenses was missing, and she asked us, "Hey, can you replace the lens?" And we went through do you have a prescription? We need something to verify and put it in there. And she shared with us that these glasses were her mom's, who had recently passed away, and she wanted her mom to have these glasses at the burial. And, I told her I love that story. I'm going to help you out. So, over 25 years, we have a collection of lenses we do not need. Went back there, found something that looked like the other one, cut it in 10 minutes, gave it back to her. And there was not a dry eye in the practice. I
Oh,
mean, yeah. So you know, I think that's going to be something she'll remember, and I'm going to remember for a long. Yeah.
no, I think that's something we'll all remember for a long time. Yeah, it's interesting how those opportunities present themselves in front of us,
Exactly. You just
and
have to look for it.
you have to look for them and then be willing to respond, right? Because it could have been a
Yeah.
very transactional interaction,
Right.
right? Had you not asked that extra question, and I'm sure she was expecting it to be very transactional. Um,
Yeah.
but it by being aware and having that mindset that you have, one extra question opened up an opportunity both for you and for her.
Yeah.
So, no, that's
Yeah.
that's very cool.
You look. He talks about that best moments list throughout the book, and it's important. When he talks about what motivates you. How do you find your fuel, things like that. When you start getting into the chaos zone, how do you get back to the potential and things like that too. So it's worth putting in the effort to create that best moments list, and,
Yep.
just keep growing and growing.
So, do you personally set aside time to work on your best moments list? How do you keep it up to date and active?
No. in fact, I have. In fact, I haven't written anything down. This is all in my head, and I should write it down. I should write it down because it's something that I can reflect on and really, gain a lot of inter perspective about myself on it. So I'm gonna start doing it,
Yep.
but I haven't
So
yet.
cool. It's well, we started. I try to make time every morning. It ends up being probably about 3 mornings a week where I'll jot some
Hmm.
things down, and sometimes I've got just one to add. Sometimes I have a bunch. Post Christmas, I have a bunch, and most of it involved seeing my kids and my nephews, who we spent Christmas with, and others. Their excitement on their face when they open their presents, and cheering and laughing. Um, we have a weekly team meeting at our office, and we actually take the first 5 minutes to let everybody write in their journals. Um, I don't yet have them share it, but I want them to write. And some of them I can tell just stare off into la la land during those 5 minutes, but others you can see them going back and keep writing throughout the whole meeting because they've got a whole bunch of stuff in their head they want to put down, which is neat. Um, One of the tricks I've just figured out recently, when I updated my iPhone, or my iPhone updated to the latest software, they have a new app called Journal that has has been popping up reminders. Hey, do you want to write about this? If I took
Oh,
pictures that
wow.
day, or if I did something, and so it gives me a chance just to put in a few minutes. It's not the same as writing a best moments list, if you will, but just journaling something cool and putting in a couple comments, and has been helpful.
You brought up your staff, and in your talk with Ted, you mentioned how your staff is in the comfort zone and you're in the chaos zone. Have you gotten better at
A little bit.
that?
We're working on it. I actually sat down with my business partner Brittany to map out the year, and it looked at what we wanted. And the first thing we started with is writing down things that we were going to stop doing. So she was excited and said, "Hey, I want to do this." And my mind said, "I want to do all these things." But I made us, and we use Google Sheets because I think it's really easy to follow your thought process on slides, and Google Sheets is shareable. But the first slide that we filled out was things that we're going to stop doing, that maybe we had tried that weren't working, or whatever the case may be. And that way it made room for all the stuff that we wanted to start doing. And then I actually had a talk with, by the time this is live, it'll air, with Brianna Rue. And we talked about goal setting, and she opened my eyes to very clearly, this is what we're doing throughout the year, but in quarters. So this is quarter one, this is quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. So once I put it into a quarter, something that I'm planning for third quarter, I don't even worry about anymore. It's not on my mind. I'm not even going to address it. Which I think helps me understand that I can clear out a lot of the chaos that sits in my brain. Because if it's not ready to do it, I can just put it off, right? I don't have to worry about focusing on it now.
Yeah. I have a staff member who we love, who she's been with us a long time, but she is definitely in that comfort zone. She does a good job at what she's supposed to do, but she could be more productive. She has a lot of potential, and I think after reading the book, I'm going to try to help her find that fuel that he talks about to keep her in that potential zone, right? Just if you talk to Tammy Franklin, she says, empowerment, give them more things to do, and let them step up. But I think it's end of the year, annual reviews are coming up. I think I'm going to start asking questions like, um, what do you want to be in charge of? What more do you want in your position? What can I do to, help you in your position? Um, how can you do your job better?
Yeah.
Something like that, versus just sitting down and give them a rating based on your, previous performance. So, and all that is to just help them find a little more motivation, keep them energized, and stay out of that comfort zone all the
Oh, completely. I agree with you 100%. In fact, I bought my staff all copies of the book. And so every year we try to find something to that has a common thread throughout the entire year. And we've done disc profiling before. We've done all sorts of different things this year, different books. This year it's going to be this book. And so, break it up into chapters and segments. And so at least one of the office meetings on a monthly basis is dedicated to that topic. And if they do something with it, that's ideal. If not, I know that I've done everything I can to push
I
as
love
much
that.
as
It
I
shows
can.
that you're really investing, time into their well-being, not just, all business all the time. This is part of, their growth. So I love that.
Yep, that's fun. And my office annual reviews are similar to yours. I don't like calling them reviews because I try to have constant check-ins with them. And we certainly don't tie any sort of compensation discussion with those because I don't want it to be a transactional. But usually they revolve around, what do you want to do in life? What do you want to make a profession out of being here? Do you want to go into something else? How can I help you get to that point? And let's map that out. Here's all the resources I can give you. You got to do it, but we'll map it out, and then it's up to them to follow through.
Yeah.
So very cool. How many, you talked about your daughters. How many kids do you have?
I have two girls. One's 25. She's a middle school teacher in Houston.
Oh, cool.
And I have a 20-year-old. She's a sophomore at Texas A&M.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Which one was the
almost empty nesters?
Almost.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and I asked. I knew yours were older. And I've got a 20-year-old, and then I've got a 17 and a 12-year-old. But as a parent, and then as sometimes it feels like a parent to our employees, there's a different relationship and different discussions I think that happen when you're talking with another adult, with another professional, than you are when you're yelling at a kid to clean their room. And how have you found working with your older daughters, like helping them set goals, helping them achieve what they want to do? Because I'm sure they've
Yeah.
come to you asking for advice.
I totally look at my goals through the tortoise eyes now, right? Versus the hare eyes.
Yeah.
It kind of redefines what you set as goals. You know, he talks about the guarantee goals. So mine really have started to fall into that category. So when I talk to my girls, you know, don't set it so high. You know, set it as a guarantee goal where you know if you take these actions over time, you know, what he calls the middle goals in that potential
Mm-hmm.
zone, the end result will be these guarantee goals. So I kind of set the standard, set the bar where it's achievable. Don't set it so sky high where you know you jump into the chaos zone and get pushed back, and that that wall that he described early in the book
Yep.
gets in the way where you're stuck in that comfort zone again. So when they come to me and talk about, hey, you know, in a few years I want to be in more of an administrative role at school versus a teacher, you know, I you know I tell her let's start with some easy steps. You know, do you have the, you know, send out some, you know, gather information first
Mm-hmm.
and kind of let it evolve from there. So again, one of the common themes I keep going back to is those small steps over, you know, done over time will get the results that you want.
Yep. No, I love those too. He calls them the easy goals, and in the
Yeah,
book, we've turned that in our office and really called it just winning the day. Right? What can I do today? Um, and I think the power in there is twofold. One, it's easy goals or focusing just on something that what you're going to do that day is is not intimidating. Right? It's not overwhelming, but I also think it gives us the power or the freedom to fail. Right? If you've got something really little that you're attempting, or even a trying to win the day and you have a bad day, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay not to achieve the goal that day, because it doesn't take away from the entirety of the goal. But if you only focus on that big goal, and it's all or nothing, you mess up one time, now you feel like a
yeah,
failure. But if you break it down to those easy goals, or just the daily goals like we have in the office, you know, not achieving it is just fine, because I've got tomorrow. I've got another easy goal
yeah.
that I can hit, and so my wins add up a whole lot more than my losses.
Right, right. Keep it flexible for sure, for sure.
Definitely.
When
So
we
speaking, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of goals, I'm always curious at the beginning of the year, what people's goals are looking into 2024, and it'll be 2024 when this airs. We're recording it right before the new year. Have you thought about what your goals are next year?
You know, I always have the common ones. Personally, you know, I like you, I want to stay in shape. I'm not running marathons, but I do want to have a consistent workout schedule, which I've kind of started. It's you know, in the book he talks about um, so many workouts a year, and I think I'm gonna follow that. I if I work out 3 days a week, I'm meet my goal of becoming healthier. And if I can add a nice walk in between there somewhere, then I'll be ahead of the game. In our practice, we you know we have another financial benchmark that we want to hit. Um, and you know, Vision Source is great at giving us opportunities to different avenues where we can help our patients first of all, and then also uh, you know gain the financial benefits from that. But in our practice here in Houston, I think we still have an opportunity in the optical where you know, especially in multiple pair sales, I think if we can do better there, our next financial benchmark will be easily achieved. So um, I'm gonna we're gonna create a game where my opticians will you know track their multiple pair sales, and I think when we do that, it'll just become a habit, and then start to snowball. And next year we'll hit that benchmark without any problem.
Yep, I like that. So um, it's a lot of fun, especially when you can get them involved and see them win, and they get excited. Um, the and none of them are listening to this, so we can talk a little bit of money. But I found that striving to win the game is a whole lot of a better. That's not good English. Is a much better motivator than dangling dollars in front of individuals. And I've tried it all sorts of different ways, but when the goal is when the outcome is winning and celebrating the win, as opposed to the outcome is you get a specific dollar amount, I've always seen more engagement and a better return.
Yeah, I totally agree. That, and I can see that with my staff also.
So, yeah, I think we like to win and we like to play games. So, you made a comment that was really interesting when you talked about your health goal and working out 3 days a week, and then you said throwing a walk in there. I've found that the older and hopefully wiser I've gotten, I've redefined and what different terms are. So working out used to be going for a long run, going for a hard run. If I wasn't bent over dying, gasping for oxygen at the end, it didn't count, right? Or lifting heavy weights. And what I've learned over the last little bit, especially reading the book a couple times and then self-reflecting, is that my parameters were much too narrow. My definitions were much too stringent. And when I loosened it and said, hey, going for a good 3 mile walk or whatnot counts as exercise. Listening to an audiobook instead of having to just physically read the book counts as reading a book. Giving myself some more grace allowed me to be more successful.
Yeah. Keep those goals flexible because life changes over the course of a year. Life throws things at you where your initial goals aren't going to be achievable anymore. So you have to be flexible with those and change them accordingly. And he talks a little about that in the book also.
Nice. So have you talked to anybody else in your family or whatnot about the book, things that you've learned from it?
No, other than asking my daughters about their best moments, not really. I just wanted to see if I was going to be included in their best moments or not.
That's pretty cool. Did you tell them why you were asking them about it?
No. I should elaborate.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun activity. Mine pushed back a little bit when I first wanted them to sit down and do it, but they once they understood that it wasn't just dad being dad, I found them slowly, secretly doing it on their phone or little notes that I found around the house. Right, them kind of remembering really cool things or even using the vernacular, like, "Hey, that's the best moment."
Nice.
So, which I thought was pretty cool. If I could go back in time and teach myself these little tricks as a teenager instead of learning them as a 40-year-old, I certainly would, and I want to be able to give them that opportunity as well.
Yeah.
So, excellent. And you brought up Vision Source a couple times. I don't know if you're aware, but the John Acuff was at the exchange last year. I know that that you knew that, and he talked about his book Soundtracks, which I forced my kids to listen to in the car, and I think they hated it. Well, they told me they hated it, but then secretly they loved it. And the youngest one still relies on a quote from the book about her life is dope and she does dope shit. And it's the only time she's allowed to cuss, and it always makes us laugh. But I appreciate that she connected with it. He is coming back this year to the exchange.
Oh, wow.
Super excited about that. And I'm assuming he's talking about All It Takes Is a Goal. And I hope he is, because it's been a unique journey that Ted McElroy initially put me onto. And I'm trying to share with others, because every time I've read the book, and I think I finished it 3 times, I'm on my 4th now, I always take away something different.
Yeah. That's the neat thing about this book. Full of information, different ways you can use it in personal and professionally. So, yeah, I totally agree.
Yep, it's fun. In fact, the last time I read it, I started with the last chapter where he takes everything and breaks it down, from your big audacious goal down to the the easy goal. So building that ladder on how to achieve that big, hairy, audacious goal. So I started with that chapter first, which changed my mindset a little bit as I was going through and reading the book, because I wasn't reading on a journey to learn what he was talking anymore. I was reading to better implement what he was teaching.
That's right. At the end of the book, he says, read it backwards now.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I haven't done that, but that definitely changed things.
It did. I tried audiobooking it backwards, and that was way too hard to remember what chapter I was on. Reading it backwards has been a little bit easier and a lot of fun. So excellent. Well, I appreciate, Steve, you sharing your insights with us on what you picked up. I thought that was genius. Your thought of, am I in somebody else's best moments, or how many best moments of others, how many times did I make their list? And I completely changed my mindset when you sent me that text. And so now when I'm with my kids, when I'm with my family, with my friends, how can I make sure that the moment I'm in with them is a potential best moment for them?
Let's make it happen for sure. Hey, let me just say, I love what you, Chris, and Ted are doing. I don't listen to a podcast and don't walk away with some kind of action statement, or I feel smarter in some way. And thank you for getting me out of my comfort zone. He talks about what is it? Involuntary crisis. Uh-huh. Involuntary crisis to get you out of your comfort zone. So you are my involuntary crisis.
I'm glad I could be that for you, and
it's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I love that. And appreciate you listening. I think the beauty of at least for me, and I'll speak for Chris and Ted too, is that we get to talk to really cool people like you and the other guests that we've had on, because everybody's got something to contribute, and that's the power of community. It's quite frankly, I take tons of notes as we go through this. Because thoughts will pop into my head as we're talking. You'll say something that I can immediately take and implement. And so I get as much out of this, maybe even more than everybody else listening, because I know the power of just what you've got to say, what others have to say. And it feels just, like having a bunch of really cool conversations with a bunch of really smart friends. They say, surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And that's what we try to do. So I'm glad you're here. You're part of that.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite. I will see you soon in Houston, in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate it, Steve. Have a fantastic new year, and can't wait to hear about you achieving all your goals. I hope you enjoyed the conversation that Steve and I just had about All It Takes Is a Goal and his insights. I thought it was incredibly insightful. Steve's comment about, am I on somebody else's best moments list? And how many times am I on their best moments? How can I create best moments for them? I hope to take that and apply it to my life, and I am trying to do so. Would love to hear your thoughts. Want you to be part of the conversation. So please leave a comment, subscribe, share the episode, and of course, support those who support us.